Alright, so the last video that I wanted to do for this spinal cord post-lab is talking about the spinal nerves and the spinal plexes, or plexuses. Alright, so we know that we have these spinal nerves where the anterior root meets the posterior root, and we have, all of those structures at each vertebrae, okay? Now, for a few of them, like the cervical nerves, the lumbar nerves, the sacral nerves, it gets branched, and those axons of the spinal nerves start to create these intricate networks, okay? Those intricate networks of the nerves we call plexes, all right? So we can see it all on this side, right? All over here, we have nerves, right? All kind of going along with what type of vertebrae they are in between. So cervical nerves, well, there's 8 of them, but that's just because there's a nerve sitting on top of C1, so it counts 8 instead of 7. But okay, so you can see it's all very simple over here. There's just that nerve extension, right? But for the cervical plexes, it's only C1 through C5, so remember that. You can see that it is a very intricate process. So C1 nerve kind of comes off and creates this other plexus here. And then it also comes down and helps create this next plexus here. So it's all just an intricate pathway where they all of the cervical nerves 1 through 5 kind of help out and create different plexuses, okay, to help move the muscles in your body. So the brachial plexuses kind of picks up where the cervical plexus stops, with C5 going into T1. For the thoracic nerves, they don't create any other plexes. They just are simple nerves here, 12 of them. As you can see, they're just plain clear extensions off of the nerve root, okay? Lumbar nerves, you have your lumbar plexuses 1 through 4, sacral nerves, sacral plexuses, and then there's just one coccygeal nerve. It doesn't create a spinal plexus either. But yeah, you can just see it's a clear extension here. Okay, so make sure that you could look at this diagram and make sure you can label which ones are the nerves on this side and which ones are the plexuses on this side. Now, there is a list on your post-lab things to know sheet of specific nerves, spinal plexuses that you need to know in each group of the cervical, brachial, and the sacral and the lumbar plexus, right? So these charts are found in your book. We're only asking you to know the location of a few of them, so I have them highlighted here. So for the cervical plexus, you only need to know the transverse cervical nerve, supraclavicular nerve, and then the phrenic nerve, okay? Make sure that you can just identify their location. We use the same boxes, okay? They would just be blank, but make sure that you can write in transverse, you can write in supraclavicular, okay? For the brachial, we are only asking for the axillary, the radial, and the musculocutaneous nerve. For the lumbar, we're only asking for the femoral. So lumbar, make sure you recognize that it's the anterior view of the leg. And for the sacral plexuses, we're asking for the sciatic nerve and the tibial nerve, okay? We're also asking for the nerves that I have highlighted here. You'll need to know their location, but then also know their function. So function, we're always typically talking about either sensory or motor. And also, we'd like you to identify where that function is going to respond, what body part. And for the most part, they're usually over the muscles that we've already talked about. So for axillary nerve, down here in the brachial plexuses, you have sensory to the deltoid, right? And then you have motor to trades deltoid and trades minor muscles, right? So those are a few uh, examples of the locations and their uh, functions and where they are sending those signals to or from. Okay, so make sure you can do that for all of the highlighted nerves. And again, it's listed very nicely on your things to know sheet. Also, on the things to know sheet, there are a group of thoracic nerves. Okay, so remember the thoracic nerves do not they don't branch off into different plexuses, right? So we're asking you to know a couple of those and their location and their function. You won't need to know location for the thoracic nerves. Okay, we don't have a chart. All right, so no location for the thoracic nerves. Just know that their functions or what their functions are. Okay. And there's only like two of them, I believe, on the things to know sheet. All right. So I probably will be giving you these charts with no writing on them for the for an activity, so you can practice filling them in, practice doing the location, and quizzing yourself with the function and where it sends its signals to or from. Okay, there's also this diagram in the book, which I think is really useful. It doesn't have all of the nerves that we're looking at, but it does have a few. So the axillary nerve, it sends its signals to the deltoid, and it's just kind of highlighted on the different muscles. So in case you forgot, maybe where the biceps brachii is, well, here it is. The muscocutaneous nerve controls the biceps, so there it is on the anterior portion of your arm, right? So there are a few nerves missing. Again, the sciatic isn't on here, and none of the thoracic nerves are on here, but I think that it is still useful for looking at, kind of familiarizing yourself with those muscles once again. All right.